My name's Dave DeBow, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on this show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewsyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content. Welcome back, folks. Today, zooming in from beautiful San Diego, California, we have a very, very busy guy who is a real estate entrepreneur, and not one, not two, not three, but actually four different real estate businesses. So our special guest today is Henish Pulickal, and Henish has four different businesses. He is a broker. He's got his own real estate brokerage. He does investment properties. He does general contracting and small development deals. And he also does real estate syndication. So kind of, you name it, he's involved in it, and very, very well connected and tied in with the local market in San Diego. So Henish, welcome to the call. Great to have you.
Thanks for having me on. Really happy to be here.
So Henish, we were talking a little bit off air about what your specialty is these days. And this will resonate with a lot of Canadians, because people in Toronto and Vancouver and Montreal and Calgary and bigger cities in Canada, the housing prices have gone just insane. And you guys in San Diego, they've been insane for a long time, but some of the rest of the world's starting to catch up a little bit. And you're really, really focusing on creating value in expensive markets. So maybe talk to us a little bit about what you're doing these days in San Diego for that.
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunity for housing because we've had such a housing shortage. And this all stems from 40, 50, 60 years of NIMBYism, right? People saying, I don't want projects anywhere near me. Yeah. And when a lot of these projects required public consent and public vote to approve, it was shot down 9 out of 10 times. No one wants it, right? Yeah. Too much traffic, too many people, there's going to be shadows. So that all changed several years ago with some ADU laws that the state passed back in 2017.
So what kind of, I've heard it's radically difficult to get things to change sometimes in California. So what finally caused this tipping point in your estimation?
Yeah, I mean, it's because I don't know the state stats for the state specifically as much as I do for San Diego. We're underproducing units by over 10,000 units per year. And so we're like a few 100,000 units underproduced for what we need.
Just in one city, just in
San Diego. Wow. And so I think the state legislators saw that, hey, we don't have enough opportunities for people to add units. So adding ADUs was a good first step to kind of soften the blow to all the NIMBYs that were saying, hey, we don't want anything. So
all right, now you can build ADUs, just to remind everybody, accessory dwelling units. NIMBYs not in my backyard.
Yeah,
right. So,
for sure.
Yep.
And so the ADUs, allowed people to build at least one unit, and now it's 2 units on every property. And even further now, in most of San Diego, anywhere near a transit line within a mile, you can build unlimited ADUs up to your max floor area ratio prescribed by the local zoning.
Which, give or take, just to give us an idea, if somebody has a house, in one of those areas, a standard house, what could they theoretically replace that with?
For sure. So average lot size in San Diego is 6,000 square feet or so, maybe 6,300. So let's call it 6,000 to be on the safe side. A lot of those houses will be in areas with a 0.5 FAR, which means you could build 3,000 square feet total, right? If you already have an existing 1,000 square foot house, that means you could build 2,000 square feet of additional units. Now, if you're building 500 square foot units, you can build 4 additional units. Right. And so that starts to, now you can start having regular homeowners become property investors without having to buy properties in Arkansas.
There. Yeah, that makes sense. So now you could have your house and you could have 4 little tiny homes, maybe not tiny homes, but small, very small rental units on that property.
Correct. Yeah. And so now there's people that have done as little as 1 or 2 units. to I'm doing an 8 unit project myself. We've got another 14 unit in the pipeline, all on this ADU zoning. And I
So
know guys
14
that have
units. So does that mean that you're basically tearing down the existing structure and building something? You're adding 14 units to an
correct. And
existing. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
and it's interesting because there's different size lots because of the topography throughout San Diego. We've got a lot of canyons, and so the lot on the house that we have is a 35,000 square foot lot, more than 3/4 of an acre, and it only has an 1,100 square foot house there. So same
Wow.
kind of metrics apply, right? 0.5 FAR says we could build 17, 18,000 square feet there,
Makes
right? So I
sense.
could have done 24 units, but in that area, I was being cognizant of the neighbors, and I don't want to piss off people more than I need to. So
Yeah.
we're actually not doing it with no parking, which is allowed in San Diego, but we're going to actually have enough parking for 1.2 cars per unit
Wow.
in this backyard of this house with a circular drive all the way around it.
Oh,
And
very
so
cool.
I just we're not there. We're not dense enough of a city yet to trust and rely on public transit right now. And
Yeah.
so I don't know anyone, even the poorest people I know, all have a car and they need to park it
In
somewhere.
California. Yeah, for sure.
Correct. Yeah. And
Yeah.
so that's what really started this. And so people complain that hey, we don't have any single family zones and it's changing our communities, but if a city's
Some's
not
got to
growing,
give, right?
yeah, if the
Some's got to
city's not
give.
growing, it's dying. And
Yeah.
so we need to be able to add people. And the people that got lucky 10, 15, 40 years ago and bought a house for 100, 200,000, well, great, good for you. But regular people in San Diego, even if you're making 150,000, can't afford you a house.
Yeah.
And so it's like, there's just no properties because even the cheapest single families, $1 million, and even the cheapest condos are 400 or 500,000.
Yeah.
So it's just too much. And so we have to be able to add these units. Now they're adding laws where you can actually do a cloud condo on these ADUs and sell them off. That's slowly starting to pass through.
Wow.
And that's a big change as well. So regular homeowners can tap into their equity and build these units. And they're getting returns of 12 to 15% or better. And then when you factor in depreciation, tax benefits, and stuff like that, it's a no-brainer, right? Those are way better returns than you can get from even out-of-state investing, which I know a lot of people try to do when they're in California because they're like, I could buy a single-family home in Indiana for 150,000,
Yeah.
but you could build a unit in your backyard for 150,000. So where do you want to property manage?
Exactly. No. And where are you going to get higher rent?
Correct, that too. Where are you going to get better appreciation? Because that
Yeah.
$150,000 house was $140,000 10 years ago. So it hasn't really gone up a whole lot, in a lot of these places.
Yeah, no, that
Uh,
makes sense. Hey, Henish, I want to ask you something because you got a pretty vertically integrated kind of setup. You got four different companies, so you're talk to us a little bit about how everything kind of feeds into each other thing. So you've got the brokerage, you got the construction company, you've got the
Flipping homes.
contracting business, you've got the
Yeah.
syndication. So how does that kind of all intertwine?
Yeah, I mean, I've been in the industry a long time, but when I started working for myself, I started flipping homes after years of being in the real estate industry and mortgage industry. So the flipping homes resulted in me having to hire a project manager to manage all the construction because I didn't want to do all that. I just know my skill set, which is getting properties and tying them up. And and then that grew into people would see our remodels. We just held ourselves to higher standards and did good quality. And they'd want us to remodel their house down the street. They might not be buying. So steamrolled that into a full construction company, S Corp, that I own 50/50 with my project manager, now my business partner. And we'll do several million, about 7 million or so this year in just residential ADUs, custom homes, large remodels. And then the real estate team grew organically too, because from the properties that I was flipping, agents would want to come and work on my team to hold the open houses and door knock the neighborhoods and learn how to, so they can be investors too. And now people on my team are also co-investors or flip houses, or we own projects together. So that's exciting there. And then now as people sell me their projects they get, especially off market, a lot of times like, hey, I really like what you're doing. My broker doesn't do these things. Could I join you? And so
Yeah.
now they're joining me because I'm doing these things, which doesn't involve just, cold calling clients and asking them to list their property with me, right? So I'm trying to do real life monopoly, and agents appreciate that and want to be around someone that's doing that.
Yeah, very, very
So
cool.
that kind of rolled into the construction and the flips, and the flips were easy because I could do that with my own money or with, one investor or something like that. But when I started to see all of the zoning changes that had happened, that now allowed multifamily in near business districts, that made a big delta, right? I gave an example of how a lot of single family zones have a 0.5 FAR. Well,
Yeah.
now they have large swaths of San Diego that had 0.5 FARs that are now converted to a 6.5 FAR. And the only way you can get 6.5 FAR in a 6,000 square foot lot is to go up. You're
Yeah.
going up 5, 6, 7, 8 stories. So now you're getting mid-rise buildings. So when those started coming to my pipeline, I'm like, these deals look too good to be true. I learned some basic underwriting on how to do those things.
Mhm.
And then I started buying them. And then I was like, wait a second, this is great, but now I need 4 or 5, $10 million in equity along with the construction loan to be able to execute on these things.
Right.
This needs to get a little bit more organized. It can't just be me and a buddy. And so that's when the syndication started last year, so we can get more organized, get coordinated on this, because I need to do it the right way, and I can't make $1 million mistakes. It's just not, it's not fathomable to me. So.
Yeah. So what have you been your learning so far in the capital raising syndication side of things? What
Um,
have you been discovering?
yeah, no, it's your reputation precedes you. And so I think that's a big thing, is that the people that have invested with me over the years are happy to keep investing with me, but now the format has changed.
Mhm.
Instead of a 4 or 6 month short-term loan for a flip, I'm saying, hey, drop your money in for 4 to 6 years.
Big
And
change.
so, yeah, and so that's a big change, because then people, it's not liquid.
Mhm.
And so they need to understand that. Two, I'm realizing that, hey, just because if I got experience in real estate and flips and construction doesn't mean that I have experience in multifamily. So now I'm working to improve my network of developers that have experience building exactly what I'm working on building on the same size lots in San Diego,
Mhm.
because they have a better feel for the program that we need. And the program meaning how many units, what's the parking ratio, what type of units are we doing? Studios, ones, twos, threes, what kind of community amenities and common areas are we offering? And then that's when I was like, I don't know all those answers yet. Let me improve and upgrade my partners so I can
Mhm.
have that in-house. So I'm not making the mistakes, because it's hard to do everything
Yeah.
when the projects get this complicated. And so I recognized that a while ago, when I was flipping, I didn't want to do the project management and manage the rehab, right? I knew my skill set. And so same with this, I know my skill set is getting the properties, doing the basic underwriting, and being able to pitch it to my investors to say, put some money in. But
Yeah.
the operational side, the program side, the deep dive into the pro formas and the legal and the program and the parking ratios, I have a
The
learning curve
permits
there
and
still.
everything. Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
And that can, and navigating, the cities and stuff like that, and getting through historical, getting through geotechnical, getting through, Caltrans and all these transportation authorities. And there's a lot of moving parts there. And so I've been learning a lot, but now I'm smart enough to know where I don't know it. And I need to rather just have someone in my team that
Yeah.
will work with me on those
So
things.
have you
So
got have you got a few people in mind that you've been talking with about bringing on board, or have you
yeah,
found somebody already?
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Some people that have a lot of experience doing contracting at this level. And then, even a guy that's recently sold his company and is now sitting on some cash and can kind of co-invest with me as well. So
Very
put some
good.
skin in the game. And I'd rather have someone that wants to work with me for equity instead of saying, hey, pay me $200,000 a year,
Yeah. No, most definitely.
because the
Plus,
upside
it's
is a lot
attractive
more.
because you've already bought the property. Like you own the property. Now you're bringing somebody in after the fact. They don't have to, part of it's
Correct.
a big chunk's already been
I
done, I
agree. And I'm
suppose.
sure, and a lot of times people say that the profit is in the purchase,
Hmm.
right? So if you buy it at the right price, you can screw up a little bit and still make some money.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's right. At least you got a break on the realtor commission, hopefully.
I'm happy to pay people when they bring me a good deal, and if I can
No, but
justify
I
it.
mean on the buyer's realtor commission.
Yeah, for
But
sure, for sure. Yeah, I can represent myself. That's true. Yeah.
oh, awesome. Well, Henish, this is fascinating stuff. If people want to connect with you and find out more about what you're up to, where should they go?
Yeah, my primary website for my real estate and my construction companies is Cal Home Co. It's HOMECO.com. So it's short for California Home Company, but it's calhomeco.com. And we got media on there, and it's easy to connect with me and contact my office and schedule an appointment with me. I'm happy to connect.
That is awesome. Well, hey, next time I'm in San Diego, I'll definitely look you up and take a look at one of your projects. It sounds like
Awesome. Yeah. You can stay at one of my hotels. I bought a hotel down here too. So
hey, that's awesome. Well, thanks very much, Henish. This has been a lot of fun.
Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it.
All right, everybody, take care, and we will see you on the next episode. Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on this show, then just head over to daveinterviewyou.com. Now, at moneypartnerformula.com, we help real estate investors to create a process for predictably getting capital so they can do more deals without relying on hard money lenders or the banks. We do this by building them a private capital marketing system. Now, if you want help turning yourself into a big money capital attraction machine, then book a call with our team to see how we can help. Just visit moneypartnerformula.com to find out more. All right, take care, and we'll see you on the next interview.